Now is the time. God, I've been busy with lots of stuff and not much time to play and even less time for videos, but I got a minute, so let's get to it quick. Let's have a look at, we're sort of near the beginning of the season. We played through the preseason friendlies and a few league matches and a cup match. We got the Carabao Cup match against Fulham. We beat Wimbledon on penalties to get to this second round for us. Let's have a look at the squad first, though. So, goalkeepers, all the same as last season, Leighton, Evtimov, and Hornby. Leighton is in good form, so he's been the starter at the moment. Evtimov sitting on the bench, and Hornby, just purgatory for him. Right backs, Laurie Wilson, still the main man, starting, and the backup, Stefan Negro. He came in when Grimsby put in an offer we couldn't refuse for James Gibbons, and we're like, alright, we'll have your money. And once we sold him, we brought in Stefan Negro for just about the same amount of money. And they're about the same age, same overall. The step up with Negro is that he can play left back and as a defensive mid, so he's a bit more versatile. Centre backs, gunning same. New boy that we pulled in on a free transfer from Australia, Italian Marco Rossi. He's a veteran, he's got some pace, he's got some strength, he's rather tall. Good tackler, good in the air, good all-round defensive player, and he is going to be useful for us. Joe Davis is developing a little bit, so he's still our main backup, although I think I'd prefer another one, but I don't want to shell out for it just yet. Anthony Kay, still aging, still dropping. He's just going to hang about and do his thing. Graham Kelly still got a while on his injury, but we have brought in, it's a familiar face, one that I like very much, Andrew Hughes. He was one of my favorites in the Newport County series. I played 2 FIFAs with Newport County, and he was awesome in all of them. He hasn't scored any long-range belters yet, but that's because I think they've taken out that secret plus 50 to long shots on left backs. But he's been solid in the back, good in the air, good tackler, and he busts down the left with some crosses occasionally. Taylor Watson doing his thing. Nothing special yet. But that's a thing. Another free transfer in, George Frankham, aka Frankenstein. If you are familiar with John Green's Wimbledon series, he came from the Wombleys, and he's more of a all-rounded. He plays on the right midfield, but he could play in the middle. He's also set to play at right back. He's a decent tackler. Hasn't impressed yet, unfortunately. Dave Worrell down here is still the primary choice on the right side. He's a little unhappy because he thinks Frankham's taken his spot, but considering he's been playing well and Frankenstein has not, we're going to make sure he gets as much game time to change that around. Another free transfer, Osman Fane. He has been really good. He is not as good on the ball as I thought he was, but he's tall, he's strong, he's fairly quick for a big guy, and I think he's bagged the goal or 2 as well. He has been solid as a central midfielder on the defensive end. Ryan Flynn earned himself a new contract at the end of last season. I was thinking of letting him go, but he pulled through with some excellent goals and good performances, and he's kept to that. He has been solid in midfield. He's our second choice midfielder after Fane. Harry Middleton's been sitting on the bench a little bit, developing still. He's still fairly young. He's another good choice for our midfield. Michael Tong, aging, but he sticks around. He puts in a good performance when he's called upon. And Christian Montano, but the same. He's got his uses, fairly decent on the left-hand side. Benjamin Johansson, he's developed a lot in the youth academy, and we've pulled him onto the main squad, mostly because guys from the youth academy, important fact here, guys from the youth academy will fulfill the youth academy objectives, where you have to sign a player that's under the age of 20 and has a higher potential than the average of the overall players you have right now. So we pulled him in to do that, and we'll look at the objectives in a bit, and I'll show you how that works. Benjamin Olsen wanted in at the end of last season, and he's only played a couple of games, but he is very good on the ball, good touch, good dribbler. If we can work up his shooting and passing, he could be fairly instrumental. He likes playing behind the strikers or in midfield, and he's pretty solid. Same can be said of Oliver Henriksen. He's pretty well balanced in his stats. He can shoot, he's a decent passer, good dribbler, and he's not exactly slow either. A lot of the youth players come up with weakened physical stats, and they're not particularly good at anything. But he was in the mid-70s in his speed, so quite quick for a young player. Tyrone Barnett doing his thing, scoring goals. He's the man up top, and he has bagged quite a few so far. He's our only target striker at the moment, which is a little concerning. If he gets injured, we're kind of left without any tall striking options up top. This guy I just signed, mostly for the same reason as Johansson. I did Johansson as a tester to see if it fulfilled that youth objective. It did, so I brought in Alfie Davis to be the second of those objectives. He has played exactly one game, a match I played yesterday against Grimsby Town. He had a fairly quiet first half, played well, set up a goal for Barnett, and then within 10 minutes of the second half, he bagged 2. I kept him in the rest of the game to see if he could get his hat-trick, but it didn't come. But impressive start from the young boy. I really like where he's going. He's got good ball control, amazing ball control. He started in the upper 70s. We got him into 80-something. Decent dribbler. He's not that quick or strong, but he's got good shot power, which means if we train up his finishing and long shots, he could be a lethal striker. Here was the signing that was most excited to show you. He was a free transfer for a reasonable amount of money. We're not paying him that much considering how highly rated it is. He's quick, he's good on the ball, he's a great striker, but he's also injured. He picked up a dislocated shoulder in one of the friendly matches. He's been out for quite a while. He'll be back soon though, and we'll try and get him in and get some more goals from him. Dan Turner's been pushed to the wayside by new signings like Lopez and Henriksen, and now Davis as well, so I think I might try and put him out on loan. Yeah, it says they're loan listed. See if I can get him some game time and maybe develop him a bit more, or there's room for him. And then last, Christian Schultz failed to impress up until the last game against Grimsby, where he set up the first goal. He made his mark look foolish at times. He used excellent dribbling. I don't know where it came from. He's good on the ball, but he's not that quick. But he made his mark look not that good, which unfortunately was James Gibbons, who we just sold to Grimsby. So perhaps Gibbons making a mistake on that move. With that, that's the rest of the team. Let's move on to, I think, the league table. Here we are, league table. After a, not the best start, we had a 0-0 draw against Crewe. We won the next 2 matches, and we are sitting top of the table, only on goal differential. After that, 4-1 win over Grimsby, that is where we want to be. You'll see why once we get to the objectives, but things looking good. We haven't lost yet. A lot of teams haven't lost yet. We've only played 3 games, but 2 wins and a draw is putting us in the right section of the table, and we want to keep that up for the rest of the year. Since I've referenced it a few times already, objectives, youth development. There's the one that's complete already that I mentioned. Sign at least 2 players younger than 20 years old with potential greater than the average overall rating of players currently in the same position. So example, Benjamin Johansson, he was currently rated at 61, maybe 62. His potential is higher than the current average of other left mids. The only other left mid we have was Montano. He's at 63, so his potential is higher than 63. It's somewhere around 80, I think. So that completes that, and Alfie Davis, his potential is somewhere around 80 as well. We don't have any players up there, so brought those 2 youth guys in, and we're good. Next objective there, grow 1 Youth Academy player by at least 5 overall points, and as soon as they've grown, play them in 5 matches, either as part of the starting 11 or coming in as a sub. That again is Johansson. We've grown him by 6 since the, I don't remember if it was since the beginning of the season or since he joined, but there was a +6 next to his name right before I called him up to the senior squad, so he's got that part done. He just needs to play in 5 matches, and then boom, youth development sorted. We should have that done before the end of the year. Brand exposure, streak of at least 85% attendance in 5 consecutive home matches. This could be kind of difficult. I'll need to really pay attention to our star players and make sure they play to bring in the crowds when we're playing at home, and then play the lesser known guys on the road. The important one, the financial, finish with at least 2.64 million profit at the end of the first transfer window. with 2 sales. Well, I forgot to mention the other sale. We sold Johnny Goddard. He was kind of superfluous, especially with all the central midfielders we had. We had Johansson to cover his left midfield duties, on top of having Montano and Schulze, and we got plenty of options on the right. We didn't really need him, so we sold him, took the cash, and we haven't really replaced him because I don't think we need to. And second objective here, keep player salary growth under 25%. I think that's going to be no problem. With 2 players out, 1 in, and only a few free transfers in, was it 4 or 5? I don't think we're in any danger of this unless we try and sign someone big, which is not in my goals right now, especially considering the profit part that we need. Domestic success, gain automatic promotion. With the strength of the squad, we really should get this. We hit a few rocky points last season, but the squad wasn't as strong as it is now, and it's only going to get stronger with so many high potential youth players. I think this should be no problem. Reached the round of 32 in the FA Cup. We managed it last year. We should do this year as well. Nothing in the continental success for objectives, but why would you? We're not in continental competition yet. We did it with Newport. Maybe we'll do it next time. Quick look at how the finances are going. The club worth is doing good. We're projected to gain another $1.5 million or so. If we make it before the end of the first transfer window, then we are going to complete that financial goal. Where's all the money coming from? We got some money coming from transfers. Do we have a 3rd transfer out? Perhaps. I don't remember us making that much. I think we only made 2 or 3 something on Gibbons and about 300 even on Goddard. So I think there might be one more transfer that I've forgotten about. And oh hey, there's a lot more detail in these than the last game. Merchandising is doing well. Match tickets are fine. That's where we're going to make a lot of our money between this transfer window ending and the next one. Season tickets were kind of low. Player bonus reserve. I'm guessing that means since when we renewed Gibbons' contract at the end of last year, he had a appearance bonus when he hit so many appearances. That money was set aside, and then when we sold him, we no longer needed it, so it got put back into the budget. Well, hey, a little bit of prize money must have been from the cup win against Wimbledon. I didn't see an email about it, so it must have been negligible. And then pre-season prize money, about 800,000. So we didn't win. We got to the semi-final and then lost on penalties. I could up until that point I couldn't do penalties. Honestly, I haven't saved a penalty in such a long time. For most of last season, I could save just about any penalty. About 80% of penalties I was guessing correctly. 60% were saved, and the other ones the keeper made contact, but it still went in anyway. Since then, I've still guessed correctly about 80% of the time, and 60% the keeper's making contact, but it's just going through him and in anyway. So I'm not sure if they made changes to penalties. But I have not done well on penalties. The only reason we beat Wimbledon on penalties is because they couldn't hit the bloody target. They missed 3 of their 4 penalties, and we put them all in. In terms of expenses, wages, and 1 player in, and we sent out a scout. Nothing to write home about yet on that. And then just general stuff. Who are our big players at the moment? Schulze, Lopez, and Davis. Oh, not that Davis. Not Joe Davis. Alfie Davis. Joe Davis, that would be silly. Lopez is still injured, so we can't play him yet. We'll need Schulze in our home matches when possible. Lopez will be back from injury in a week and a half. And maybe Alfie Davis will have to come off the bench. Lopez and Davis are going to be competing for that running striker slot next to the target man, Barnett. Same as down here. Oh, debut. We need to debut some more guys. Let's see if we can get Johansson in there and get some extra money. Star signing. Okay, maybe Johansson's not a star signing. Whatever. And we will end the episode here at the calendar. We've got the Carabao Cup match against Fulham before the end of the month and the end of the transfer window. And then a nice full calendar here in September. Crawley at home, followed by away Checkatrade Trophy to Oxford, away to Wickham in the league again, home to Morecambe, away to Colchester, home Stevenage, away Barnet. Good. See anything else noteworthy? Not particularly. Before we get to January, the next video will be sometime around here. We'll get another video update. Maybe a live match. If we start kicking some butt, then I can ease off the gas in match and still win while talking to you guys on camera. Thank you for watching this episode of FIFA 18 Port Vale Career Mode. I am Ranroth. Follow me on Twitter at RanrothGames. That's where updates happen between videos, which are pretty sparse these days. I do not have a lot of time for this, unfortunately. What else? You're supposed to like the video because, hey, FIFA video update, woohoo, like just for that. Comments are always appreciated down in the comment spot that goes down there somewhere. And then subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, if you want updates on when the next FIFA video comes out. And there might be a few other game videos. I know we've got the Sims 4 rando family going on sometime, maybe, and also Oxygen Not Included. I started playing a different save of that so I can get back into that and figure out what I'm doing, because I'm kind of floundering in the video series, but I should know what I'm doing more when we have the next episode of that. Thank you for watching. I'd love to know what you think of this video, and of course I will see you in the next one, whenever and whatever it may be. Peace out, homies.